Hi everyone, Joe here, hope we're all doing well. So in this video today, I want to talk a little bit about the state akin to sleep, as Neville puts it, and trying to feel it real in our imagination when we are trying to manifest our desires. So I get a number of people asking me, oh, I can't seem to see what I'm trying to manifest in my imagination, and I'm unsure what to do from this point on. So my answer to that, in my own opinion, we're so used to seeing things with our main sense, which is our sight, and if we can't see it in that with using that sense, we can't feel it to be real. Okay, what I find with that is a lot of it tends to be ego. Now, what I mean by that is we will perhaps close our eyes, we go into meditation, we get into that drowsy state, and then we try so hard to see the thing in imagination, and we can't see it. And because we can't see it, the ego will then arise and say, oh, you can't see it, therefore it's not real. And then people tend to get disheartened or discouraged with their imaginal scene because their mind is probably working 100 miles an hour, and then they just don't do it. And this can lead a lot of people to give up when trying to manifest, okay? But what the purpose of this video is, we're going to go over the other senses that everyone has, okay? And we're going to go over them spiritually. So there's going to be some exercises here. We're going to go over each sense. Now, as you're aware, the 5 senses are sight, taste, touch, sound, and smell. Okay, so that's the 5 senses everyone has, and every outer man and inner man has, okay? But what happens is we get so used to using them in the external world that we forget that we can actually use them internally as well. Okay, so to start off, we'll go with sound. So if you can just relax, just close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths, okay, and think of your favourite song, or an inspirational speech, or a movie quote, just any of these, but close your eyes and think of them. Just let the first thing that pops up into your head, okay? When that comes up, hear it. So say for instance, it's a quote by, the US President, or, the Prime Minister of Britain, anything, any one of these. Hear that quote, hear that statement, and hear it in that person's voice. Okay, try and hear it in that person's voice. If you've heard that voice before, then it will be stored in memory. Okay, so we can use that to then harness the inner sound. So if your eyes are closed, you can't see anything, but you can still hear that voice with regards to a song. There may be a specific lyric, there may be a chorus, anything, the sound even of the song. Close your eyes and really hear it. And you will be able to hear it. If you close your eyes and you disregard all the current senses, you will be able to hear that song in particular. Okay, so that's the first one. Okay, so the next one's going to be touch. Now, Neville does this one a lot, where he'll say to close your eyes and imagine that you're holding a golf ball, and then you'll feel, the ridges on the ball. Then he'll say, now feel a tennis ball, and you'll feel it's a weird, felt kind of, sense on your fingers. And then he'll say, right, feel a baseball, and you'll feel it's more leather. You'll feel, the stitching around the ball. All these different things, okay? So that's what we're going to do. So I want you to really grasp onto that. So if you close your eyes again, go right deep within, and imagine, touching your hair even. Something as silly as that. That's quite rich coming from me, but however. Just imagine that and feel it soft, wavy hair. Imagine shaking someone's hand. Just feel the contact of the skin. I think I spoke about this in the last video also, for shaking the hand to feel it real. You can feel the person's skin, okay? Really feel that. Now, if you can do that without seeing anything, it still feels real, okay? So following on from that, you have taste, okay? So now I want you to imagine your favourite meal in the world, the most beautiful meal that you've ever tried, that you love, that you go back to all the time. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine that you're eating that, really, that you're tasting that food. Okay? Really, really taste get the texture, you know, the savoury, everything from that favourite piece of food. Okay, really taste that food and feel how good it tastes. Okay, now if your eyes are closed, you can still taste it, but you can't see the meal, but you're still tasting it. You're using the inner taste, the inner sense of imagination to taste this food. Okay, so now we've got smell. Okay, so the fourth sense to go over here is smell. So again, close your eyes, go within, and imagine freshly cut grass of a summer field. Close your eyes and just smell that grass, smell the nature of that grass, smell everything about it. It smells so fresh. The air just smells so fresh with that aroma. So we can smell that just now. We can really get that smell in. If you can, Neville also tries to smell a rose. Now you can't see a rose, but you can smell it. Okay, if you can smell that and that, you can get the sense of joy and, you know, the feeling from the smell of that rose, and it smells so real to the point where it's almost like you're holding the rose and you're smelling it. Then it's real. That's it. It feels real enough. That's fine. We don't necessarily need the sight. We get so wrapped up in this, oh, I can't see it, and if I can't see it, then it's not real. Okay, but it's so important not to neglect the other four senses. They're just as important. Okay, it's not all about one sense to get to an imaginal scene. It's about using, if you can, all of them, but at the very least, most of them. At the very least, 3 out of 5 senses will be enough to help you feel it to be real. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use all 4. I've been thinking about this before we do the video. So we're going to go with a glass of orange juice. Okay, so I want you to close your eyes, go deep within, try and relax, try and disregard the external senses. Couple of deep breaths in and out. Get yourself relaxed. Now with your eyes closed, I want you to feel that glass, okay? Feel the fragility of that glass. You know, you're holding it, it's empty at the moment, okay? So you're feeling it with one hand, you're holding the glass, okay? Now with the other hand, I want you to feel, whether it be a carton or a bottle, whatever it may be, I want you to, imagine that you're holding this object and you're pouring it into the glass, okay? Whilst you're pouring it, you can hear the orange juice splash and hit the bottom of the glass. The glass is getting heavier also because you're filling it up. Okay, you can feel that glass is getting heavier. At the same time, the carton's getting lighter, and you can hear the splashing of the liquid hitting the glass and the glass filling up. Okay, now before we taste it, we're going to put it up to the nose. Okay, so where this is all in imagination, we're going to take the glass, we're going to take it up to the nose, and we're going to have a brief smell of this glass of orange juice. We can smell it smells fresh. It smells, citric. It's a beautiful aroma to this glass of orange juice, okay? This is all while the eyes are closed. We're not trying to see this glass of orange juice, but we can feel it. The most important thing is we can feel what we're doing without using the sight, okay? So we can smell it. Take a deep breath in. Smell that juice. Breathe out. Okay, well done. And now we're going to take a sip, okay? So I want you to take a sip of the orange juice. Feel and taste the tanginess round the tongue. It can be quite sour, so it gives us a little bit of a shock. It's quite a sour drink. We swirl it in the mouth, and then we swallow the drink, okay? Really taste the tanginess of that orange juice, but when you taste it, what happens when you drink it? You feel refreshed, okay? That's the feeling that the 4 senses we've just used should be helping us feel. Okay, so every one of those senses we have just used to achieve a feeling of refreshment. Okay, we've taken a sip of this orange juice and we now feel refreshed. Such a really tasty glass of orange juice, okay? And notice that we've done all of that and we've not had to see a single thing, okay? If we've done each of those correctly and it still feels real and it feels good, then that's all we're looking for. The most important point of this is to feel that it's real. It's more important to feel it real than it is to see it real. okay? Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, okay? If, however, you are still focusing too much on the seeing part of the imagination, then just slowly but surely strengthen that visual muscle. Excuse me. How can we do that? By taking a photograph, okay? We hold a photograph up, we look at it, okay? Try and memorise as much as we can from that. Then put it down, close your eyes, and just try and see the photograph, and just try and see little things that were in the photograph without you holding it, okay? Imagine holding the photograph and imagine seeing as if you're looking at it. Don't be too disheartened if it's not clear. Don't be too disheartened if there's certain things you thought were there but they weren't. Don't worry about it. This is all about strengthening, and it's all about practice, okay? We're not going to be able to go in if we've never used imagination. You're not going to be able to go from being, as you are at the moment, not being able to imagine, to being able to use all 5 senses and everything's perfect. It's not going to happen. Everything takes practice and it all takes time. But when you get to that state and you've used those practicing methods, you will get to a point where when you can go into imagination and in an instant you can feel all these things, okay? That's the most important part. You can feel all of these senses, okay? Every one of those senses that I've explained and we've went into detail with, you can feel them. And that's all we're looking for, to be able to feel that those senses are real. When you get to that state, that's it, it's done. It's done. Simple as that. You felt it felt real, boom, finished. It's all done. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful to you. I felt inspired to share this because so many people seem to struggle with the visual side of things, and they get so disheartened because they're used to seeing everything on the outside, and then when you tell someone that everything on the outside is a reflection of the inside, they want to change the inside, but they want to change the inside by seeing it because they're so used to seeing it out. They want to see it inside first. But it's so important not to neglect the other senses. They are just as important. Okay? So as I said, I hope this helps. All details below for coaching if you liked. Please like the video, subscribe. As I said, I'm still taking questions for viewers. If you're interested, if you have any questions that you want me to answer, to make a video on, I'm more than happy to do that. Just fire them in to me. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care.